Hitting go live.
Okie dokie.
We're live, I guess. That's how this works, right? I've never done this before.
Is the Primarch allowing us to go live? Have we got permission from the Breen hegemony? Are we set?
I suppose so. I don't know. I didn't fill out all the paperwork that was sent over to me, so maybe
You
we're
didn't?
not. No.
So if we suddenly hear a giant red ball goes, blah, 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 then we've got a problem.
They wanted me to prick my finger and spray blood on each page to sign it, but I was like, I don't feel comfortable with that. So you know how it goes.
I don't. That's kind of unusual. I don't tend to deal with Breen, but I always stay in front of them though. You know, I'm the one who's always sidestepping or never turn. Hi, Stuart.
Hi, Sam. How's it going?
Bit tired today. I got rudely awoken by, I don't remember what, some sort of loud random noise, 2 hours earlier than my alarm, which in itself was not enough sleep. So doing fine, but you know, the sleepeth. Unlike the spice, the sleepeth does not flow.
Yeah, I hear you.
How are you doing today?
Not too bad.
Good.
Not too bad at all. I also woke up early for an unknown reason, so I don't understand.
Maybe across the pond we were connected and it was the same noise. Maybe my cellular network poked us. And guys, join us for Stuart's birthday drunk yards tomorrow. A whole day bonanza. I'm going to dig out loads of uniforms. I'm sure Stuart will have some uniforms as well. We're going to play some of our different games. You guys know how fun the AI stuff is. Imagine with 7 to 12 shots down our gullets as well. That'll be fun. And come celebrate birthday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern.
I'll be 50, so
unknown.
we're celebrating it a little early because my birthday is not until
Yes.
May 28th. But, you know, best we could do, actually.
Oh, it's kind of funny the amount of people who see Captain Foe's 50th birthday announcement and assume that means it's your birthday that day.
I know.
Even though the announcement implies a future forward-thinking element.
Even yes, even after when we're doing the live, they'll be saying happy birthday, and I'll be like, it's May 28th. I've said that multiple times.
Well, it's different if it's on the live. Then that is a birthday. It's like a emissary? No, a place that you do diplomacy that's got its own rules. You know,
Embassy.
Yeah, it's like an embassy of time. That live exists as a birthday moment, even if it's not technically because we're celebrating it that day.
We gotta make sure that on the display that we're using tomorrow it says birthday May 28th, so that people know.
Yes.
Just saying. Anyway. Yes.
And yes,
so
on Doctor Who Day, which I will not be watching, I guess, that day because I've got stuff to do before the live and I'll be very drunk. So thanks, Rusty Davis, for spoiling by having it released today at midnight, which means that it'll be all over the internet, which means it'll be no children in the UK going to watch it anymore. The 60-year tradition will be ruined. Yay! Well done. Good job. All because the Americans want to see it.
Well, we also got we got four CMEs heading towards Earth right now. So that's a coronal mass ejection, which can cause problems with infrastructure such as internet and cell phone and power. So, and one of the biggest ones is supposed to hit us tomorrow. So who knows what's going to happen? Maybe just everything will go out and we won't be able to do it. But
Right.
Tune in for what we can. Yeah, there's 4 massive ones heading towards Earth right now. So
are we screwed?
so you're aware. We might be.
Or just some screwed?
I don't know. I'm watching a few videos on it today, so we'll see what happens. There's nothing we can do about it, so...
Okay.
Anyway,
Excellent.
on that positive note...
Yeah, we'll be fine. I will start sharing. See you all in a minute.
Yes. 24 people here and 10 likes, guys. Hit that like button. Let's get those likes up to 20. I know you can do it. Also consider joining the channel. There's a join button down there, or head on over to Patreon/Trekyards. It's another great way to support us on a monthly basis and be part of a really awesome community over on Discord and stuff. So help us out if you can. Also, make sure you're subscribed. Sometimes YouTube unsubscribes people. So Make sure your subscription button is hit. Oh my God, you know words. And also make sure that your bell notification icon is clicked to all so you get notified when we do these lives and uploads. Because we always got stuff to talk about. This is the way. We also have links down below to the Teespring and the TeePublic store. Really, some really cool Trekyards merch there. So check that stuff out and see what might interest you and what you might want to pick up, because we would love to see you guys at conventions and stuff wearing some of our gear. That would be awesome. Lots of ways to support the channel, but also just super chatting during these lives, putting your thoughts or comments or questions about the episode in a super chat format would be greatly appreciated and help us out immensely as well. So we read them all on the air. You get your voice out there. So if you want to do that, please do. We'd appreciate it. But the easiest way is just hitting that like button. It's the thumbs up thing. Just hit it and shoot us a thumbs up digitally. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Lots of ways to show your support. Even just sharing the content or just spreading the Trekyards word to people that you know like Star Trek and maybe haven't heard of us. We'd appreciate it. And yeah, check out the back catalog of videos as well. We've always got 10 years of content for you to go back and check out. So if you want to laugh, go check out some of our early stuff. I'm just saying. Anyway, yes, we're here today to talk about season 5, episode 7, Erigah, and hopefully you guys will have some thoughts on this episode. My first reaction last night, there's some mixed views on it, so it'll be interesting to see where you guys kind of stand in that regard. And yeah, we'll break it down scene by scene as we do.
And let us know in the chat, are you excited for the final 3? Because conventionally the final 3 would be a build-up of cool. Are you excited? Does this one get you more excited, less excited? Has this been the journey that we all hoped? Let us know. I'm interested to know.
And Matthew says, I was really surprised by y'all's take on this episode. Y'all took a big old crap on it today. Curious to see how the detailed live review plays out. I didn't take a crap on it. I was both like intrigued by it, but also kind of disappointed and let down. But I didn't hate it by any stretch. So
well, it's one of those episodes where there's a ton of little problems and they're more interesting to talk about than the good things. So we end up doing lots of like small problems, which is fun.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, because I didn't notice that in the edit. It's like we just had like a laundry list of things that we noticed. Kind of very classic to season 1 of Discovery, where it's like not necessarily the main plot, it's just like all the little things and all the mid things. Because there's a lot of small scenes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Let me start a poll as well. So, Stuart, what did you think of this episode? And the most important question that I must ask, because I need the answer, how does it feel in more than 10 minutes after the fact watching? Because we watch it almost together, and then you review it. First reaction, as wrong as that might be in terms of, you know, things need to linger and think about it and things might see online. So more one viewing. What do you think after watching it more than once?
Yeah, it actually gets worse each viewing for me, honestly. Okay, this one, sure, we got to see some more Federation ships, kind of. We got to see a Breen ship, kind of. So those were exciting things. The whole idea of that escape plan was ridiculous. There's a lot that just didn't make a lot of sense, and it's interesting. Locke's death is going to be spoilers, by the way. His death is going to be super important one way or the other, whether he comes back or not. So it kind of left on a sour note a little bit, and I mean, everybody kind of got something to do. We got to see Jet Reno, which was nice. And I actually liked one of the comments that was up here. He expected A, to revive the android from episode 1, Fred, or B, another cameo from Pelia from Strange New Worlds, which is kind of what I called out as well. But Jet Reno. And then he goes on to say, I seriously think the producers confused Pelia with Jet Reno. Get that old lady from the past we have as a non-regular on the show sometimes. Kurtzman. But yeah, I mean, getting Jet Reno back was awesome. I always love seeing her on here. The book and Stamets stuff was pretty good. and I think the clue was interesting enough. I just wish it would have been kind of sped along, and we actually got to see the archive in this episode. This, I think, was stretched a little too much. It was a good idea that probably could have been half an hour instead of the full 54 minutes that this one was. And just some weirdness at the end with the whole, are we going to send her to the Breen? And Admiral Vance gives a little nod to security guy, and the security guy nods back, and she leaves. They didn't do any. They didn't like communicate with the Breen to take her. They didn't send her.
And second, getting a second opinion, like second decision, is for losers. Gone in 1 second.
Yeah. And Starfleet Boy actually pointed out a good thing as well when I popped into his discussion. No chairs in that briefing room. So, I don't know. I think...
And also not a static camera to be found.
Yeah. And also it's another missed opportunity thing. You could have had Saru in this episode. Would have been nice to see the Federation president. I understand that she was doing something else and it was safer for her to stay there, and I get that. But even to see her on a view screen saying...
Also, that was written in. It wasn't like the actress was necessarily too busy. They wrote in that thing.
So, I mean, a little bit of a missed opportunity, but it was nice seeing more of Vance and Tarina. That was great. And I think one of the best moments of this season for me so far was when Tarina was like, totally understood what the Breen had said and kind of called them out on it. I like that. So you get to see some more from some side characters like Vance and Tarina, which was nice. And everybody else kind of had something to do. And merchandising. We got the coat that Cobra's wearing. Anyway, that's kind of my take on it. It's kind of an all over the place episode for me, and I don't quite know how to articulate into words what I feel about it. So, yeah.
But there's a poll, Stuart. Read out the poll.
Oh, there is. It interrupted my reading. We asked you all if you thought Disco Season 5 would be the best season. Most people said yes. Is Season 5 so far the best season, the second best season, middle, or worst?
Because that was pretty much like, I think it was like 75% when we asked.
Yeah. How about you? What are your takes on this after seeing it now more than once?
It's worse on second viewing.
That's what I said, yeah.
Mostly, and I said this in another review, the pacing is not good. And when you know the twists, the pacing is much worse because it's just lots of people talking with nothing really exciting. And a lot of meandering. I like what you said there. Like, everyone gets something to do, but very little of it does anything. Like, I feel, I like, in the sense of, like, their characters, I now think Adira and Tilly are stupider because of how they approached getting information, the speed of which they did it, how they walked everywhere. Like, there's no urge. The way they did it was dumb, and they could have done it smarter if the script allowed them to do it smarter. But so you either could have cut that down by a fifth and had it be really zippy and clever and made them look smart, or you padded it with them looking dumb. Jet Reno's fine. She's not really actually, she's sort of there. Like, the acting level is like a 1. She's just sort of saying lines. But I'm sure it's just what the actor's like. Like, that's just the actor. So it's believable, just dull for me. The bridge crew is all there, as in the new bridge crew. Not a single of the old bridge crew is left, not even the Asian guy. So I guess they all left because they don't like the show, or they're busy, or they've got other jobs. So they got something, but none of it added anything, right? None of it was a moment. Yes, the Rainer got something. Although someone else pointed out in a review, it's sort of out of character. He's not that aggressive normally. It makes sense, but it's certainly like we're going to introduce this late. But at least it was something. Tarina's great. She was a standout for sure. But she's a very good Vulcan, right? And certainly, as another review pointed out, the fact that they can make put 2 scenes of a minimal emotion, successful acted Vulcan and a faceplate of a mask be so intense shows that was good, because that was a good set of scenes. But a lot of the stuff around it was very not padded, just not efficiently done. The escape of Maul and then being recaptured felt redundant the first time, and it was super boring the second time. I know it meant Locke had to die, but they could have written it any other way, right? He didn't have to die that way, so they just wrote themselves into a wasting of 7 minutes. I don't feel much for Book saying, "Look, I spent 17 more minutes with you than anyone else. I'll get through to her," and then just like it's okay, and it didn't. And Book is very redundant as well. He doesn't need to be there really. He's not getting much. And Stamp's doing the same thing. He always does. Nothing much there. It's just, and not smartly either. It's just sort of there.
At least they used Book's one special power that he had. At least they remember that he had that.
How does a Beta Zedian add a memory to a piece of metal?
Well, I think it's linked to the manuscript because the manuscript is showing where it was. I don't know. It's fine.
And of course, the idea of them seeing where it was 800 years ago. And in first watch it was confusing. In second watch it's obvious that is irrelevant because Book says where it was then, but they don't use that information at all to help them find it now. They find it at 18.
Well, this is where it is now. Guarantee you, the next episode you're going to see that plasma storm.
Well, they're in the Badlands. That's not the Badlands. That's another plasma storm.
Well, no, that's going to be their Badlands.
I hope not. Because Badlands are great. You. But it was very clear the second time. They have the route. They guess the route. They know where it is. The book information is entirely irrelevant to anything. You could have cut that straight out. It was very strange. So a lot of unnecessary things. I think, yes, had it been 20 minutes, it would have been excellent. Because the universe building is great. And it would have built a lot more tension. Every time you have scenes in between bigger scenes, it drags down the tension value. And then having something like, the Primarch walking up to the guy they want to steal, clearly they can beam him away. If they can beam into the room, clearly they can beam him away, or shoot people, or grenade. Again, the tension is removed, because he clearly doesn't want him that much, he would have grabbed him. It's just...
Yeah, and non-returning was a non-thing, honestly, because could have been anybody, and her team was ineffectual at best.
Yep, she was, and it was amazing how little character they gave her. She was just there. Her, Book, Stamets, Adira, all very flat. It's either the need to pad time or the need to give 17 actors scenes, and it just really dilutes it down. Although Burnham isn't in it as much in the last third, which is kind of nice. She's not the central focus, or the first half, she is the central focus. She's like, I'll be the one to solve this again. It's just not very good. And it was more boring the second time, because the twists don't feel twisty. The first time, the ship's arrived. The Primarch's arrived. Second time, it's just going to meander through the plot. It's definitely better than last week, but it's not good compared to the early episodes of the season. And this is when you start to think, is Season 1, Season 2's being pissed off at how bad it is that now more compelling than mediocre? That's the problem now. Is that more entertaining because it's bad? Watching a bad hand-to-hand fight, watching Michael's Giorgio getting eaten, watching all these stupid scenes, is that more entertaining than this? Probably. Is it better? No, but it's more entertaining, probably. It's strange, Stuart. It's very strange.
It is. Mark Lawrence, though, $5. The bar isn't high to be the best season of Discovery. They needed new writers that understood the difference between Star Wars and Star Trek tech, for one.
Well, that was another moment that really stood out. When the Federation fleet arrived, they say, warp signature's incoming. But you just tracked the Breen ship from Breen space 100 light years away.
Yeah.
You said that as if it was a surprise, but you've been tracking them for days or weeks or hours. Don't play it like a surprise. Not a moment too soon. You'd have exactly known the second they would arrive, because they'd be telling you a non-moment. That's not how warp works. It's not how future warp works. And of course the spore drive. The fact they could jump away to the Delta Quadrant removes that tension point as well, and it makes that scene broken. Again.
They'll track us. They'll track our jump signature. So jump to the Gamma Quadrant. It'll take them a long time to get there. And how do they track a mycelial jump anyway? This is where they jumped. We have no idea where they went.
And again, you could zip... The early version could spore drive 37 times in 4 minutes. Are you telling me there isn't an emergency jump button that lets you jump if a torpedo's on its way? Again, no threat value. It's very strange. They sort of forgot their own rules a bit.
But back to Mark Lawrence's Star Wars and Star Trek tech, for one. This first scene... Special offer courier services. That ship that they escaped on, the emergency medical pod from the ISS Enterprise, looks very much like a Star Wars land speeder, like one of the expensive land speeders. Fat Produce, $2.
Oh, thank you.
It's the best season because it's the series finale, or the season. Yes, it's the series' finale season. Yes.
I do think this season makes season 3 look even better though, because Vance was amazing. All the new characters are amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
At least we were right, though, in the sense this is the same pod. They didn't get very far.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing they were tracked the entire time. Although, boy, you look at this future Discovery ship. What are those blue glows at the front? They ain't windows, because that's too big. And look at the top.
Look at the registry and the name. It's there. You can't fucking read it.
Well, and not just that, but look at the hull. It's just lines. There's nothing going on. It's the most cheap. Like a fan modeler could remodel that in a day, and be as good. I can even see the blurry text. Oh god, I can. Wow, I can actually see the texture maps are blurry on the top, not even higher. Oh, Jesus Christ. But at least it's a ship shot though.
Kinda. Yeah.
We have like 20 of them in the entire season.
So special offer courier services is apparently SOS for the couriers. Limited time only, meaning short amount of time.
Yep.
But Discovery jumps in, and we get a nice pan across Discovery and those long windows with the walkway underneath. That was kind of neat, I gotta say.
And again, you can see just the hull is just generic lines that are clearly non-logical. The CG man, like, there's nothing there. But yes, those windows are just ceiling viewports for no reason. Okay. Sure.
It's cool. That's why.
Sure. But yes, Naan is here. And she was much worse this episode. She'd been very good before. She's not in this episode.
She didn't say yum yum.
Yum. And also, do they move her breathing thing? Because it used to be here, and now it's like here. In most scenes, she's not even looks like she's wearing them. I forgot she was meant to have them, because I'm pretty sure they were there. I guess the actress said, I don't want to wear them. Like, I don't want to do that. I can make them easier.
She got super upgrades.
Which is fine, but that's like her thing.
Yeah. But she has the original diary, so it's like, oh, we already have some of it on file. Translate the rest. And Mon's like, I got a Romulan on my team. We're good. We'll do that.
And that line, I didn't catch the first time. It says so offhand, so off camera. Like it's behind them as they're about to go into the other scene. And I missed it first time. It's so like an ADR just to cover our asses. But it's like, you didn't even use that in the plot.
Yeah.
So strange.
The confrontation between Non and Book was quite interesting, though. He wants to get in there because, yeah, like you said, I've had 17 more minutes with her than anyone else has. I know her the bestest in the world. But she's like, last time I dealt with you, you were firing photon torpedoes at Discovery and using isolytic weapons.
Fair.
So.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought that would build up to something more important. It doesn't, because it fizzles out, and it's like, hey, you're not so bad after all, Book.
Yep.
All right, cool.
There's a lot of fizzling out in this episode. At least I like that Burnham and her have this moment of, I wasn't as hard on him because of, for you, friend. And need a little bit of chemistry between them, but again, it's very minor.
Yeah.
And underbaked. And knowing how shitty these guards are, I'm left a bit embarrassed that this is meant to be like a special forces. Like, they're dressed custom, they look serious. And isn't it so awkward, actually? If you look at the way the two background extras, they're like eyes forwarding, they're trying not to look at Michael Burnham. She's giving this like personal dialogue. And they're like so close to each other. They're like, oh, you're getting married and you've had 3 abortions and you're... I'm not going to look at you. It's the body language is odd for these extras. It's a weird scene to be in for that.
Yeah. But Locke's not doing well.
Still?
Yeah, and Maul is
there
in bad shape too. She's half starved.
Doesn't play any part of the plot though. They just say.
Nope.
But it does at least say they didn't get anywhere, which I like.
Yes, and literally when we tried to separate them, she went ballistic. So we're going to keep them together.
Why don't you stun her?
Stress. Yeah, keeping them apart would only keep more stress on his system. So we're going to keep them together.
Stun them both.
That seems like a safe idea.
Stun them both. At least stun her. And it would be great if they'd said, at this point, her suit's a special heat suit. Or something. But we get into some pretty explicit, we don't know much about Breen still physiology. So he ain't doing well. And despite knowing that we're going to do this, he still doesn't. I don't know. He ain't doing well.
Yeah, they just gave him something to ease the pain. But
yep, he will die. It's like, unless.
If he dies on a Federation ship, that's going to charge up this Breen conflict even more. So.
Yep, not then an excuse, but he has a great idea. Just to make basically a freeze bed.
Put them in a fridge.
Arnold Schwarzenegger would be proud.
Anyway, so yeah. We get a nice shot of Starfleet HQ in the next shot.
The door is closed.
Yes, it is, yeah.
See, we did one episode of that because they failed in the first episode. They've done pretty well since. We were watching. There's also very few space shots. Now,
There's a demon on the left-hand side of the screen. Look at that. Like an eye and teeth, a skull.
And I like the concept of having the starbase move to a nebula, but it's so one note in terms of lighting and color that, like, part of Federation ships is enjoying the blue glow of the nacelles, the red glows, the impulse engines. But in this situation, everything from now on is very orange and bright, but not in like a nice way, like just a bright way. It's a weird choice to put it here. But you get the silhouettes, but it was a weird choice.
Yeah. Oh, Linus is still here from the original crew.
No, he was season 2. He wasn't original. True. That's what I'm saying. He's people like Linus.
They retconned him into season 1 with the flashback.
They did. But people like Linus, so.
Yeah. Anyway, Vance is hailing. It's top secret, so they got to talk in the other room.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where Maul and Locke are staying in your custody, and she's like, "Why? I thought we were going to transfer them to you." And it's like, "No, we got the Breen on the way, so we want you to get the hell out of here."
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense. It's actually a good plan. But no, they'll track our jump signatures. How? And even if they do track where you went, how are they going to get there if you're on the other side of the goddamn quadrant or another quadrant over? You can jump anywhere. Like, it's not a problem. Anyway, it's fine.
Yeah, and I don't think that they would just attack Starfleet headquarters because there's no Moloch there. They would go for a larger plan. It doesn't serve their purpose because they'd start a war, and then they obviously don't want that without the progenitor tech, so I don't believe that. And I will also say something about, in this one scene, the Vance actor, terrible here. I know he's trying to be uncomfortable, but he had such a bland, blank, disconnected expression. He must have an off day or something. He has really bad delivery here. Like, if this was him normally, oh goodness, he was bad. The rest of the time, he's great. This one scene, he's really, really bad. Doesn't sell it well. And like you say, it doesn't make any sense. At the very least, you could, jump to the edge of our galaxy, they track, you jump back. And someone said, in another review, they commented saying, well, no, even if they do, the Breen will meet them there with faster warp and they'll cause carnage along the way. I don't think the Breen are going to stop at random planets, bomb them, Discovery not being able to know they're doing that, lose those hours at warp, and then continue. Every time risking wars with small planets. So there's no purpose in that. They're not there to cause terror for the sake of terror, and no one's going to know. And even if they do know, Discovery, because I would assume once they spore drive to the edge of the known galaxy, they can't communicate with Earth anyway. So they're committing to stay there for a long time, doing nothing. That's it. There's the plan.
It's not like they're sporing into Earth. Hey, Earth, how's it going? Oh wait, here come the Breen. Oh no, and then the Breen wipe out Earth. So we're going to jump to.
I just realized. Also, doubly stupid. They can track the spore drive. Okay, spore jump to 7 planets in one day and drop more than lock off one planet.
Well, that would put other planets at risk for sure.
But there's no way they'd know which planet, and if all 7 planets are far away, and they go,
all 7 planets would be in danger. Then that makes it even worse.
Well, no, but they can't send 7 Dreadnought. Or fine, 25 planets, 50 planets in one day. There's no way the Breen say, "Well, we'll guess which planet." That's it. They can't. And if they're all 1,000 light years away, that's not. They can't do anything with that. So there's no tension or build up here. But I assumed it'd be a chase twist. But it wasn't. It's a stay at command. We get more characters. I like it. We get Vance. It's good. We're staying here. Especially as we see the ship later, they have not a chance in hell to win against it. They're new.
So next scene, we find out that Tarina has been put in charge by the Federation president to deal with this situation. And they haven't talked to the Breen officially since before the burn. So intelligence is limited.
Which, as I said to you earlier, puts into question why she would know the Breen language, because she wouldn't have needed it since pre-burn. Pre-burn was 60 years ago. She wouldn't have been president then.
Yeah, but she would have been probably still in politics at that point, on her way up to that. So I have no problem with her speaking Breen.
I mean,
it's not a sticky point.
But it's played like a reveal, but no one knows Breen. That's kind of the point. It's so hard to know. I just assume there's a translator in her ear, and because they could translate no problem. So it's just they played it for a different moment. But she's good here.
Well, then there's 6 Primarchs as well.
Yep.
Fighting for control of
Bit
the
of good
Imperium.
world building. Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of spinning around the table. A lot of. Why is the second in command there, except a vent?
Well, he was a captain for how many
But he's
years?
not a captain now, though. Doesn't get you a seat at the table necessarily.
I know, but he's obviously has experience with the Breen. That's probably why he's there.
But then shouldn't Booker be here because he's got experience with everybody? I just because the meeting's not like the fleet captains. It's just it's just odd. It just occurred to me. It's more like main characters only. But you could argue there should be more people adding to the story.
Yeah, so they're trying to figure out something else they can offer to get this Erigah gone, this blood bounty, and Rayner says that won't work. If they need to start a war to fulfill this bounty, they will.
Genocide is their prime directive.
Yeah, let's not forget what happened the last time Breen entered Federation space. Deep Space Nine, anybody? Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily what they're implying. I mean, as in, I don't think that's a lot of time between, but the fact that it's oblique means it could be anything, which is a good way of handling it. It brings to mind that. Although, of course...
They kind of solidified it with Tilly's comment later about destroying an entire city.
Well, again, Sanford could be any city,
I know.
right? I'm just saying, it's appropriately vague that we can do whatever we want with it, which is good. But also, they don't really play anything into the idea that they are obviously actively... you can't just go through borders. So the Breen are demanding they're going to head to Starfleet Command, which means they're breaking the borders treaty violation. It's like, that's fine. They don't even address that. They can't do that, right? It's not like a diplomatic envoy. It's a warship.
Yeah.
Politically.
But then we hear that Saru's out doing things.
Yep.
And in a recent report about the Breen, he noted that their factional wars are stemming from a succession dispute, which this whole episode is based on. So we got a mention of Saru, which is great, but yeah, I wish he was in it a bit. But
yeah, it's nice they could at least hang the lantern on why he's not part of it, but it's, neither here nor there. And then he goes off about, as in Rayner, about he doesn't like them. Don't quite like that. The president calls him a xenophobe from one comment. Like, that's a bit harsh.
Well, he quotes the Romulans saying, "Never turn your back on a Breen." And yes, that was a harsh comment that she did back, but...
There are saying so many things about many people. Like, just go straight to, "you racist prick," is like... Okay, thanks. Thanks for that. And he's dismissed. Like, here's obviously one note here, but once you know his planet got screwed, although no idea for how long, they give no context beyond that they did it. There's not, was it the Bajoran occupation? Was it 50 years of horrible work? Was it 6 months of torture? It doesn't need to be informed, but you got the sense that he was there, he saw it, but since before his Starfleet career, so that means it was decades ago, and then was a young, did he fight? I don't know. He's not a main character, really, so they don't develop it too much. But he's dismissed for talking.
Yeah, they have a little run-in in the hallway. Don't really say much of anything. Just
it's reiteration.
Can't do any missteps here. And then Breen are here, red alert or yellow alert, as the case may be.
Yep, status quo sort of thing.
Tilly is heading back to.
I love she has a phaser. It's so stupid, but it's so good. Yeah. And she has a bag like we have in Trek shorts, so I appreciate a bit of... Even in this much of the future, you still have a rucksack with a strap on one shoulder. Yeah, we do that in Trek shorts. Huzzah!
Nice. Yeah. Stamets asked for help translating the Beta Z thing. Its translation is the labyrinth of the mind. So if you and Adira could focus on the meaning of this, I'd really appreciate it. I'm going to check out the chemical analysis of the metal. Let's work together.
Yeah, my problem
And
here. Oh, sorry.
That's where she says the last time the Breen paid a visit to the Federation, they destroyed an entire city.
Yes.
So.
Pew pew. Yeah, my problem here is that this is incredibly paddy as well. Like, also, Zora should be enough to work this out anyway. Adira should be enough to work this out anyway. Tilly needs to go. She's got her responsibilities are on the station with her class people. That's actually her responsibility. She's a temporary assignment here to help. She's also an engineer, not a decoder of sayings. It's just to keep her in the story. It's just to have a conversation in a corridor. It should have been done and significantly smarter. And him having to reiterate to the audience he has to work out what the chemical make. It just... Yeah, it's just not... It's very sort of kindergarten scripty basic stuff. It could have been done so much better.
Yeah.
Clunky, that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. And it takes up a lot of time. Just yeah.
To say very little.
Yeah, exactly. So then we get back in sick bay, the Frigidaire ICU thing is working. Mm-hmm. And it's so cold in sick bay, he's wearing a jacket, but Maul, of course, is right beside him wearing, like, they didn't offer her a jacket. Maybe they did. She probably refused, honestly. But Matthew, though, $5. I'll give you all this one for sure. Why was Tilly walking off the ship, not personally transport her and her bag to wherever? She was going to say goodbye to somebody, maybe, to Burnham. I don't know.
Yeah, Matthew. Yeah, well, I said this in our review that any walk and talk doesn't work now in the series because every single person would beam everywhere in a crisis because every single second is possible death. So her walking is dumb. Him walking after is dumb. He would beam to her location. But like, it's fine until you realize they do beam everywhere all the time. Yeah, I didn't think of it, but yeah.
To take walking out of the equation is just stupid as well.
Then don't introduce the ability. I know what you mean, but don't introduce it. It's like a God Tech, Spore Tech. Don't introduce it and then, like, it would have been actually kind of awesome if we'd seen her say, like, if we'd seen her walk. So this is where I say about being clunky. If we'd seen her walk into Spore Drive, say goodbye to Stamets, him say, "Wait, Tiz," and she beams out to the academy, drops her bag, walks into a meeting with students. He beams after her, convince her to stay.
Yes,
we get to
that
meet.
Would make a lot more sense.
We get to meet the kids. The kids convince her to go because they say it's not about us, it's about the mission. And within 3 minutes, you've seen her do the entire jump round. Bam! You've done so much more narrative storytelling in those seconds. That's how you do that scene, not whatever they did. Because you're right. Use the fun of the beam because they do it all the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love his jacket. It looks so modern. It's so unbelievably discontinuity with the era, but it looks great on him. Let's be honest. He looks so cool with his little thing. Yeah, it's a great jacket.
Yeah.
So puffer.
Yes. So yeah, then Burnham starts talking to Locke and Maul about who exactly he is, why this is so important to the Breen.
He's Car. Not quite.
And I do love this discussion and the way it kind of plays out. Some things are worse than death, and she puts together, yeah. So this is good because they establish that he is in fact the true bloodline for the leadership.
The last direct descendant from Emperor. He's got uncles, but
yeah,
last direct. And then what do they call him later? They're a very specific name for him. Scion?
Scion, I think. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so this conversation's actually great. Give him praise for this one. This was good.
I do think it's about a third too long, though. And it doesn't give urgency to Maul. Like, Burnham has way more dialogue than both of them combined. Mm-hmm. And by doing so, it kind of, like, back and forths a bit too much, because it should have been shorter. But yeah, now she knows.
And Ozzy, yes, we find out later they are in fact married, husband and wife.
Which I liked way even more the second time. I thought that was actually a really nice little moment.
So next scene we got Tilly and Adira working with Zora to figure this out. Find out it was a manuscript. Labyrinth of the Mind is a manuscript written in 2371 by Marina Derricks, who's one of the scientists. Who,
Yep, the last one, presumably.
yeah, and they're looking for any copy of it, and they're like, copies might not be good. This is actually referencing the direct original manuscript. So, unless there's only a couple thousand copies made, chances of them still being around are very small. So,
yeah, I wish they made a reference to how, like, if it's anything made around that time, it would instantly be scanned and put into a database. So it had to actively not be allowed to be done that way. So I wish they'd said physical copies like textile, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a data document. No one's writing it. They're all typing it. They're all whatevering it. They're all padding it. You know. So there's no record. Either means it was all deleted or it was physically an actual whatever. It's just an odd thing when do this far in the future. You know, whatever.
no.
And Zora, not that smart in this episode. Super sentient AI that's connected with a computer with thousands of years of knowledge. She's just Jeeves. Ask Jeeves. She's Cortana. You know, not very
Cross-reference the people that have. How is it worded? Hold on.
You'd think she would have thought of that, Zora, having millions of calculations a second. You know, or can't they just do it themselves? They have to ask the computer.
Well, as you said, it's just like the beaming thing. If you have a computer, you got to ask it. You can't look it up yourself.
It would be quicker just to do it themselves.
Yeah, so they asked Zora if they could do a scan of Starfleet personnel files to see if there's anyone with expertise on ancient manuscripts. And of course, it's one of their own people from the past that was born, well that disappeared 100 and some odd years before this manuscript was even written.
Yeah, and it's not even as if they said on the crew. They're at Starfleet headquarters with Starfleet Academy, which means all the teachers are there, several ships. Not a single one has any experience, because it's not as if they said the most knowledgeable, the only one with any knowledge of past. But of course, to Jet Reno, there weren't antiques, because the 800 years of difference means that everything that Jet Reno knew is now an antique. And nobody, and I was like you said, and this is why I think messed up the mirror in this episode. I was expecting the obvious. I saw the obvious setup for the characters that were not introduced. The fact that you saw Pelia, I'm sure felt like a letdown when she was introduced. In second watch, it's so obvious it should be Pelia. It's not even funny how obvious this setup is. To not Jet Reno, to say Pelia and she's on the starbase and she beams in. It's so obvious, and it would have raised the episode so much because you would have had. I mean, she would have been played a different character, right? Because she's that far in the future. But yeah, it again feels like a missed opportunity, and she's right there. She's on the soundstage like 2 miles away.
Yeah.
Strange.
Instead, they go and find Jet Reno, who's fixing a targeting matrix in the floor of a corridor.
Yes, very slowly, and without any sense of urgency. It's kind of remarkable how chill she is about it. I know they're not a battle yet, but
it's specifically to deal with the Breen. So why do they have targeting sensors in the floor,
which are accessible by a little thing? They don't think about this stuff, Stuart. Also, they have no main engineering, so they can't do that. And again, they don't beam to see her. They walk to her casually. Again, no pacing. It's so slow. Everything's chill. Walk with me. It's so slow.
Yeah. Anyhows. Yeah, so she said she padded her resume a bit with that one.
Good line. Funny. Good idea.
She used to work for or she used to move hard to find folios for a shady antiquarian archivist. Say that 5 times fast. So we find out her past was a smuggler, had a lot of odd jobs, VIP shuttle pilot, deep mercury welder, bartender.
And possibly slut.
Not
my words.
Yeah, she's picking up a guest shift at Red's tonight, and then I never got this reference, but the 7 of Limes, 7 of 9, kind of funny.
Yeah, it's so small and whatever. Although they don't get paid, so guest shift because she just wants to have fun being a bot, but she doesn't have fun doing anything. She's just a grumpy old lady.
Fun being a bartender. Yeah, it would be. Actually.
I don't know. But it certainly changes the character a lot because she's not like the most talented ever, and she only ever made it to a cargo ship, so in a wartime, so she's not like the best thing ever. But the fact that she had such a long careers before Starfleet, which means she had to join in her, let's assume, late 20s, somehow get into the academy, beat out all the people. Like, that really adds a lot more than just she joined the academy, she did it, she got lost. You know, makes her far more odd, and also far older than you think she is. But again, I said in another review, medical tech is such that she could be 65 and look like a 40-year-old, and that's absolutely fine. So she probably is in her 50s or 60s, and cool, no problem. Which, although the actor might also be in her 50s and she look good, to be honest. But not even be. How old is Tignan?
Yeah.
She must be at least in her 40s.
And then the Breen, gonna alert
53.
Here.
So yeah, she might have been in her 70s while playing a 50. She's pretty good, 53. Good for her. Yeah.
And then the Breen show up, and there's the Dreadnought.
Good little moment with the light. That was good.
Yeah. Bathed in the nebula, so we can't see most of the ship.
Yeah.
But damn, it's huge considering that's Starfleet HQ, and it towers over it.
Yeah, again, this first time felt the tension. Second time felt the meander. You know? And it's a strange thing to introduce the big bad ship in Act 2. Because every minute it's not doing anything interesting removes its tension factor. I kind of expected in the rewatch, although it doesn't make sense, for like a small ambassador ship to come in ahead of the Dreadnought, and then the Dreadnought come in to add that last act where they'll beat you up if you don't correspond, if you don't whatever. But yeah, it's giant. Makes Starfleet look a bit embarrassing because it's real big.
And then Michael says the most embarrassing thing ever. That Breen ship, that's the same ship that we saw on the time bug cycle. Oh, you saw it, did you? Because I saw a debris field when you said, is that a Breen ship? There was no Dreadnought hanging around.
There is a green something in the far distance, but it's hard to see what it is. It's at the top right. Yeah. At the very least, she said the same class.
Well,
because therefore she's assuming there's only one of them. Because you would not, if there's 7, you have no idea which one's which. Yeah. So she says there's only one of them by that definition.
That time jump was 30 years in the future. So was the Breen ship just hanging around for 30 years?
Yeah, that is. Wait, no.
Yes, it was. Sora had been waiting for 30 years. Wait. That's why the ship was so dusty.
No, but that was a destroyed Breen ship. Because it have to have been. It was in a debris field. So it would have been destroyed at the battle. So it would have been at the battle, which was only a few years later.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's still wreckage of a ship at the time.
I didn't see it, so.
Well, yeah, there is a.
They made it very unclear, so.
And it would, and actually, would have been amazing if it had been like giant, like tumbling, or like it would have been too big. It would have. Actually, yeah. If the thing's that big and it was that small in the frame, that means it's like, freaking, so far away from the wreckage. It's that shot doesn't make sense, does it? But it's a decent ship. But yeah, that's a dumb line. And also, we don't need to know that because. It's the biggest thing since a Cyrus ship. Like, we get it. It's deadly. Like, it's fine. We don't need a silly line.
And of course, their scans can't penetrate the shields, so we do get a shot of it, like, from
how's
side.
That? The Breen can travel from Breen space across our entire border in a day, track spore jumps without any issue, and have shields so powerful they can block all scanners from Starfleet headquarters, which is the most advanced scanners in the fleet, because it need to. This Breen shit's powerful. These totally outmatch Starfleet in every way. The Breen should be taking over everything at this level. My goodness. And if they were just to make their bridge of the same material from last week, they could also have unlimited non-beam into tech. Amazing.
But yes, Burnham points out here that without Locke, this guy, this Primarch, has no claim to the throne. That's why it's such a big deal.
Uncle.
So now they all know. Yes.
Weak claim. Everyone has an equal claim, I think they're trying to say.
Yeah. I do love the large hologram, but I hate that 900-year-old holographic tech, or like 900-year advanced holographic tech still does this. And also doesn't need that.
And also the primary holo communication of Starfleet headquarters.
Yeah.
With the best engineers in Starfleet.
And it's not like it's a long distance transmission. Then I could buy it.
With the best and most advanced warship in the Breen Armada. Stop it. No. That's wrong. You guys are wrong. It's not. It's not.
But Samuel, the
Oh.
audience is too stupid to realize that that's a hologram. That could be a really large head and torso in the room. We have to make it flicker.
But it's good to see him. I think it's the same. Pretty sure it's the same guy from the flashback episode. I will say the voice modulation is always a tricky thing. Kind of like Bane in Batman. Not every line is totally understandable. It's quite heavy-handed, but obviously it would be. But I'm not going to complain too much. But you kind of have to think about what he's saying. But I do like the visuals. And I like their formality as well. And he does introduce himself. Good for him. Polite, the Breen guy.
And they want to negotiate, and he's like, "There will be no negotiations. Beam the fugitives to my ship immediately."
Yes. And she says, "Well, yeah, of course. But the extradition has about 4 hours to do those things. You have 1 hour.
Failure to comply will be considered an act of war." It's like, okay.
But I will commend the Breen. They don't do anything actually an act of war in this episode. They give them 5 minutes to beam the lady over. They don't just grab her physically from the room that you're currently in. Like, they do actually do everything sort of by the book. An aggressive book. But everything is by the book. So I do, because waiting a full hour is quite a long time given these are, dastardly, tricky, conniving Starfleet, right? As all humans are. So I commend them for that a little bit. Although Vulcans can't lie, so I'm assuming that extradition does take 4 hours to sign. But she doesn't need extra. I don't know. Small thing, but she can't lie, so.
Yeah.
Small thing.
Then we get Stamets doing Stamets things, eliminating a few of the planetary systems.
This is very dull.
Yeah.
And again, he does not make him look that smart. I know he's not an engineer, and this is probably appropriate for how smart he is in this field, but where the hell's the chief engineer?
Yeah.
Why is he doing this? He's a mycelial engineer. He's not a whatever this is.
Well, he doesn't have. He has been for a while.
I know.
But he asked Book for help. Well, actually, Book comes and says, "Until I need to pick up a phaser and start shooting Breen, I don't have anything to do. Keep me busy."
Because my character has no purpose. He literally says it in the storyline. It's great. Yeah. Although, guys, we're at 31 likes, 54 votes in the poll. Super chat your thoughts, comments, questions. This is meant to be our big live of the week, so help us out with a few thoughts. What you think, what not. 54 votes. We'd love to get these 70 votes in the poll. We asked the fact that you thought the best season. Is it best, second best, middle, worst? We've now got best winning, middle, second best, third, and worst, almost second best number of score. Fascinating. Okay, keep voting. I would love to know your guys' thoughts on this.
Hit like if you haven't. 52 people here, 33 likes. I think it's 50.
Feed me. Don't think about the dates. Michelle Paradise has said it's 1,000 years from a point. It could be 1,000 years from the point of this point. She said explicitly like 1,000 years. It's not. Don't. She's not addressing it. So.
Yeah. So now we get the scene with Burnham and Rayner.
It's good.
We're running out of time. Do you know anything about this specific pre-mark?
No.
No, but I know about another one. And you had said in the other review, he said he didn't want to talk about it. He said, "I don't like to talk about it," which is different.
Okay.
He said, "I don't like to talk about it." And she's like,
okay.
Kind of need to. And he's like,
because pacing-wise, it is odd to have a scene where you say, "I won't talk about it," and then 2 lines later, he goes on a big, gentle tirade.
That happens all the time in everything, though.
I know, but if you cut out the first bit, you could have saved time at a tighter edit. Again, padding.
Yeah.
Or you give him more of a stronger reaction, and he didn't have it. Because he plays it quite down, like, under the surface. It's a good performance, but it's quite... But again, we don't know, was he a child? Was he an adult? Is his planet killed? I mean, they fucked his planet.
He said it was a long time ago, so we could assume he was like a young adolescent, maybe.
Did his parents... Well, no, all his family died, I think he said, which is really bloody harsh.
All of his kinfolk.
Well, again, that's also vague. It could be anything, which is good. I mean, if you rather than say my mum died because someone shot him in an alleyway, and maybe the specifics aren't the best. But yeah, they say that the person used it as a forward in some war, again, generic dialogue, like unspecific, but a war, use our planet as a base, blackened our sky, ruined our oceans. God damn it, Discovery, you really messed up this guy's planet. Because seriously, ouch.
Yeah, but they talk about the warring Primarchs and how like that's a thing, and it gives Burnham the idea of what to do next. So this is again one I got to call out as being a good scene. I think it was well written, it was well acted, it was good. I like Rainer's delivery here was good.
Yeah, again, should have been a bit sharper, bit shorter, bit sharper, but pretty good. But he's a good actor, right? He sells these scenes. He's doing a good job, and Burnham's not overdoing it. But yeah, then you get obnoxious walk and talk in the sense like they're not beaming. You've now got a giant warship with 1 hour. There's no reason you'd be walking. Zero. So I entirely don't buy the scene. And again, the energy's terrible and off.
I do like that she addresses that everybody I used to deal with is like pushing up daisies now, so I don't know how I can help.
Yes.
But then she mentions if it's a one-of-a-kind manuscript, it might want to be protected.
Yes. Because the whole point of this is to be preserved for all times that they could find.
Yes.
That's a really good point, actually. I hadn't considered.
So she says, try the Eternal Gallery and Archive. We just call it the Archive.
I don't know why Zora wouldn't just know that there's a place where all special manuscripts are. Yeah. It's not a secret. They've 18 places it was.
Yeah. It's always on the move.
And again, the way she's fixing this thing is so chill, it's unbelievable. Zero pace to this. None. It's so uncompelling from that standpoint. And this is why I say it should have been like a convoy ship, envoy ship, and then a big ship, because this is not how you'd play these scenes. Maybe they swap some things around the edit or something, but it's just not the scenes you play in order to make this. And why have Adira and Tilly? They become redundant as a pair. Because neither do enough to justify them both being in the scenes. It should have been just Adira, Tilly off with the cadets.
Well, I know what they're doing here. Tilly's a teacher that's kind of lost her faith in her teaching ability. Adira is somebody that's kind of wary as to whether she should be there or not. They're teaming them up together so that Tilly can teach her that she's good, and Adira can learn to be more confident from a good teacher. Because she calls her teach in this episode as well. So that's what they're doing there. So that's why they're keeping those two together all the time.
True, but all they've done
building
is
each other up.
All they've done is ask the computer a series of questions, then gone to Reno, ask a series of questions.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the entire clue. And as another review said, that's so unsatisfyingly simple, and they don't do anything that's specific to them. Because if it would have been interesting if, again, cut all that stuff out, have it be that Adira knew about stories of an old ship that did it from a time at Earth, cool, and have Tilly be the one that does math to work out its course and location without the computer at all. Both of them were in unison, that'd be perfect, right? But they just ask them questions. It's, again, unsatisfying.
Yeah.
But Jet's fine. And I appreciate seeing more of her. I'm very excited to see that ship. It'll be disappointing, I'm sure, but I'm excited.
It'll totally be disappointing. Yeah, I'm expecting something cool, but I know it's going to be disappointing.
Yes.
So yeah, back in sickbay, you're not out of the woods yet, but you are stable.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, Locke says if your captain's thinking of she's gonna pull one over on the Primarch, she's fooling herself because Breen aren't like you guys at all. And they point out their differences. That Maul loves him, and it's like, yeah, but that's different. It's fine. And then the stupidest thing ever happens. Ooh. Sorry, go ahead. You want to read something?
Yeah, Femi says, they're following Reno and she's working on fixing the ship, so maybe the walking is because the points she's fixing are close to each other, and pointless transport doesn't save much time. It's like saying there's no point buying the new processor because you're saving 2 seconds per render. No, but 2 seconds per render, per job, per day, per hour, per year, you're saving time. If she can fix a ship 1 minute quicker per fix, they might not die. Choosing to buffer time to take a minute more per fix just to travel when you could take 1 second is not smart, and in a battle situation, no, I'm sorry, that doesn't work.
Yeah. And yeah, Phoebe's hands up. Who remembers she had a symbiote? I had completely forgotten until somebody reminded me.
Yep.
2-3 weeks ago.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, because that would have come in handy. Because one of the Trills could have, or the symbiote hosts could have known about the archive or something. That would have been great.
As if they were a unique character that offered unique things.
Yeah.
Because that was we also met. We met every single goddamn host. Inside Adira is a Starfleet admiral who was a full admiral, and several other stuff. There's like 7 Starfleet officers inside them, and a goddamn admiral. Nothing they know is useful. Ever. Stop shitting on yourself, Discovery.
Yeah, I think Discovery forgot that she has a symbiote.
And that Zora's filled with sphere data from thousands of years of stuff. They could have been... Imagine if Zora... Imagine a scene where Zora knew the progenitors back in the past. You know? Like they bumped into a ship. Like you can so many cool things with the premise. Anyway, back to the thing. They have your favourite moment, Stuart. The whisper scene. And it's louder the second time you watch it. The first time, the whispering, it's really loud the second time.
A lot of people made the argument that the force field isolates sound. First of all, you wouldn't do that with your guests, prisoners. Plus, the Starfleet officers, security officers, are literally like maybe 10 feet away. You can hear what's going on.
Lip reading.
Yes. But they have this whole plan that I'm gonna deactivate the thing, and you're gonna get out in the shuttle and beam me out, and we're gonna get away. And it's like, and then the guard's like, "What are you doing over there?" Like, seriously? That's just beyond ridiculous. Oh, Olivia has an SOS. Olivia, $2. Carrier service available. Special offer. Limited time only.
And Ryan points out, I love how you have to brighten each frame just to see it.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what it was. This is how it should look. Minimum. And that's how it look ideally. Yep. Constantly have to do that with this show. It's dumb. Yeah, this scene, it's fine the first time, not just the second time, for sure. And in fact, what you just said about the force field, in fact, it would do the opposite. It would actually be designed that it would resonate and make sound inside of it louder to allow the guards to hear it.
Yeah, that would make perfect sense. Yeah, absolutely.
Or there'd be security cameras that have things in their rear. I know that's every movie where they can't hear prisoners, but they are so close and talking at such a normal level. Now, if they, for example, start talking in Breen, which would have been surreal to see a mouth Breen, but like, or another alien language that they don't know, that's how you normally do these scenes, you know?
But what security officer in a special security branch wouldn't have a translator implanted in their ear?
But then that's fine normally, but then they're couriers from across the galaxy, so easily there's language that's super unknown that they knew on purpose that it's not translatable. That's fine, but that's interesting. This is and again, this feels so padded. You don't need her to escape when it's interesting. It wastes 6 minutes of the plot, 7 minutes of the plot.
Yes, it wastes a big chunk of time. The fight scene, everything. Yeah,
it's very strange.
Just for her to come right back to see him die. And
honestly, it makes Locke's the guy.
Yes.
Yeah. He's just sitting there lying there the entire time. Like they were built up as these cool characters. It's funny. Rain was built up to be a dick. He's great. These guys are built up to be great. They're okay. You know? It's weird. They're not as cool as they could have been. Well, his makeup's still phenomenal, but we get a really fun beam in with all that tension.
First of all, why do you let so many Breen beam onto your headquarters?
Yep.
Like the small group behind him, fine, but then it's like, what are you doing?
And also, because of how the Federation are aligned, they clearly pre-discussed that because they beamed exactly where there were holes to make it a unified thing, as if it was choreographed by a stunt person. And also, that's a lot of people. That's clearly like an attack force, and if they let them beam them in,
well, it looks like a royal guard behind them at least. The other ones don't need them.
Oh yeah, they just. But I just don't understand why they don't beam into Discovery, or beam in here into Discovery, just or throw a grenade, or anytime you do this sort of scene and don't even mention we're lowering our shields and beam in on the bridge. Yes, Captain. Like clearly, there's no shields up. Otherwise, you can't do this, which means they can beam anywhere, sabotage anything, beam anybody out, as they do later in the mess hall in the.
Yeah, for all they know, they beamed over a team to the engineering part of this Starfleet headquarters, and they're planting bombs right now.
Yeah, like it's an unusual thing to do in this scenario, and the freedom they beam in is clearly like, haha, we've got a kill force just in case. It's like, what? Hey, at least it also suits. I commend them for that. So it's an odd scene. It's an odd power play.
But I do like how Tarina says that's not what he said. What he actually said was, no need to speak with spineless, insignificant archworms. A little more accurate a translation, yes? I love that. That was just chef's kiss of awesome.
Yeah, the thing is, the stuff with the Breen that's interesting is actually really good. It's just surrounded by mediocrity and not so good.
Yeah.
These are all good ideas. A little bit slow, but it actually adds attention. But they ruin it between every other scene. So it doesn't ever build anywhere. Like I say, it's a phenomenal line. I love it in the translator. I kind of would like to have seen that more jokes about that, as if maybe like, as if they've all got little translator buds, and Raina said to Burnham, we don't smell that bad. Like, you could have played it a bit more fun, which is fine. Just like, you could have made that a bigger part of the episode. But the fact that the Primarch goes into English to talk to them is great. Good balls from everybody. It's bold. It's good.
Well, they offer them 45 metric tons of raw dilithium.
Frickin' hell. Because remember, in Season 3, they didn't have enough to fly their ships. They were rationing.
Yeah.
And a single ship, single normal storage and discovery changed the entire game. How much is 45 metric tons?
45 metric tons.
So, scarcity within, what, a year and a half is gone.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Good job, Starfleet, for I mean, it might have been a bluff, but I don't think it was. That is very impressive that they got back on their feet that quickly. Hey, I salute them, because that was a giant plot thing we gave. Goodness.
But they pull a bluff and say they've been talking to one of the other ones. Tahal is her name, and that kind of gives him pause for a second. And he doesn't quite believe them.
Yeah. The acting, and I said this in the other review, the fact that any actor who's in a full bodysuit without facial expression is a hard part. This guy, this mask sells it. The amount of little like, ooh, you little bitch. I know exactly what's going on in their head. Really well. I mean, the voice is great too, but very successful, and it shows how well these characters can do. I know who this guy is from the body motion as well. Really well done on that.
And we also now know what the Tau Ceti system is named after, because she named her flagship the Tau Ceti, which after a lethal viper with a slow-acting venom. Nice.
Yeah, I was confused about it a little bit, but I guess it makes sense that multiple horrible things grew up in the Tau Ceti system.
Yeah.
It's a great name for a ship. But yeah, this is a really good bluff, and I really like the acting, especially as a Vulcan, because, you know, they would know Vulcans don't lie, which actually helps the scene. He's a bluff if they can't lie. Although, if she can't lie...
Well, it's not that they can't lie. Plus, this is also 800 years advanced, and it's also, they've been mixing with Romulans on Navarre, so...
Her dad was a Romulan, says enough. I know, but that's like one of the big things. But also, they still have the same haircut, though. Like, they kept the haircut, lost the lying, gave the lying, fine. But it's a great bluff. I really wish they had her on like speed dial. Imagine the twist that you had the character pop in as like, no, she did that. Oh, it would been so fun. But yeah, it's a good scene there.
Then we hear about, Rainier is like at the Twin Gates, and I rose against her, and she basically said I fought. She liked the way I fought. Ferocious, relentless, almost like a Breen, is how she put it.
Yes.
And so yeah, they're convincing him with because of Rainier's backstory. Yeah, it's actually pretty great.
A lot of bluffing, but they have no cards to play except Discovery jumping out. Yeah. I do think that they could shoot the ship before it could jump out. Because the time it takes for Stamets to beam into the chamber, slip his arms in, do the math to jump, he was not ready to jump. So there is no immediate, again, no tension. Normally, nurses, he'd be ready, but he's not.
That's the other thing. When they jump, they don't just, they like, they always move first. So.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, they could just have shot the ship and they would not be able to react in time. So, yeah.
And Olivia, $2 at Save Lower Decks, hashtag
yes.
Save Vigi.
I agree. They are more smart shows. They make me go.
Yeah.
But back to the scene.
Oh, again, stupidity abounds in this room. hey, Starfleet, I need to speak to Captain Burnham. And then nobody, the two security officers, one would be watching her, the other one should probably be keeping an eye on the other guy. Don't see him flip the thing open, this big thing, turn the thing, and then poof. Non's team is so well trained, I tell you. I just hate this.
You
so
guys have one job. One job.
Yeah,
and you didn't watch a dying man turn a tube.
This also negates this also proves that force field came through.
What's that?
I did that on purpose. I muted you. So this also proves that the force field can be talked through.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because people are bringing up like, oh, it's soundproof. It's like, no, it's not.
Yeah, it didn't occur to me there's two guards.
Yeah.
They're not both looking at her. They're...
Ideally, you'd have more than two in the room.
Oh,
one
yeah,
on
you'd
each
be
side of the
surrounding
door
him.
and one or two like on the other corner just to keep an eye on things. So.
Or, for example, if a Primarch shows up with 8 or 9 armed guards.
Beaming in.
Best to have more than 2 people with phaser pistols, not rifles, pistols. You're right, this scene's worse than I thought.
Yeah. And he injects himself with a full day's dose. And then Maul kicks the refrigerant thing, so now he's really not going to heal because... Anyway, it's fine. And then there's a big fight. And Culber gets shot. And I thought for sure, with all his talk about spiritual shit, he was going to get, like, killed in this scene. But literally, and this is another dumb thing, which happens in a future scene, probably about 5 minutes later, he's back up working on his patient. So even if it was set on stun, that's a very ineffectual stun. You'd think stun would last at least 20, 30 minutes. Nah, he's up and going right away. I mean, they probably could have pumped him full of a stimulant that we didn't see. That's fine. But
also, where the hell is Chief Medical Officer? Why was the shrink doing this? Dr. Pollard, where is she? Why the fuck is this guy who's done much medical?
That's a good point.
And she's a good character. Does a good job. Why is he this? This is not the most.
He does the best job of fighting her though.
Even he does do a good job.
Yeah,
he really does. I was like, Wilson must have had like a really happy, like, I get to fight somebody and it's gonna look cool, but it's not a particularly good fight. They hide it with some odd camera moves, but clearly they're trying to hide the fact that like a 5'3" lady that looks like a stick can beat up 2 best trained security officers and a doctor who died once and Nan who comes in. And then she leaves. Maul leaves, and Nan's like in the room alone, like, I can't see through this fog. Yes, you can.
Here?
Yes, you can. You could see.
That was the most ridiculous. I mean, it's just dumb.
Yes.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of great scenes in this episode, but that's what I mean. I was intrigued by a lot of it, but just I have a very split thing on this episode. It's
very thin fog, and all at eye level. And she's a specialist tactical officer with good eyesight, I'm guessing. Yep. Not good. Not good.
To say the least, not good. All right. And then, this next scene, he's like, whatever your deal was with Tahal, I will exceed it.
And this is great.
Come with me.
It's a bad scene with a great scene, but because one pulls down the other so much, they don't feel...
That's what you were saying earlier, yeah.
Like, this is really good, and I love the fact that his tone changes from gonna kill you all to $1 more. And I really like that, because they could have played that for what it's worth as well. You know, what is she offering you? Or what is... How would that play? Yeah, what are you giving her? It's like, we're trying to... No, what? No, they're giving... Because that's the thing, they changed the paradigm so much here. Where, like, he's threatening them with death and war, but then she says, but we're going to give it to the other lady, who's not here, hasn't got a ship, has no people in the vicinity, you're here, he's going to kill us in 5 seconds. And yet, for some reason, our word to the other lady who's not here would stop you from killing us now?
Or just taking Discovery.
Or just taking Discovery. He instantly respects the idea of a deal that isn't here.
Yeah.
It's very odd, but I like the scene. It just doesn't. The tone is a weird shift that hasn't been quite justified.
Well, I love her response to it. We have no desire to engage in your bidding war between your factions. Like, we don't want to be a part in the middle. But yeah. Yeah. So the third option is we reject your offer, you leave, and we keep the prisoners.
Why would I want to do that? Yeah, why would you? Just take her.
Because we have a spore drive. If you attack us, we can be gone.
We will just track it.
we can go to Hull in seconds. And whatnot, even if they do. And that way, you can battle it out like you do. That's how you deal with things. You'll go to battle with her, deal with her.
Yes. But it's such an odd thing, again, tension-wise, to go from giant ship, can kill you in a second, you got no option to, I'll leave because I like the status quo better.
Yeah.
It removes every bit of tension from the episode. And then second watch, you know it's coming, it removes the tension from the first half. Very odd.
And then Discovery messages and says, or there's a message for Michael Burnham.
No, wait, wait, pause. Say that again in 1 second, okay? Then he says, if the person's injured, we'll go to war. I give you my word, he'll not be injured. Then what happens, Stuart?
Captain Burnham, it's non.
1 line later,
I gotta nope out.
She gave her word.
You would assume you would assume she noped out of the room, instantly beamed, which is the next scene, without getting any other information, because she's shocked to see what's going on, and then she pulls out a phaser. As non, wouldn't you say they just escaped? There could be a possibility of Maul being hidden around the corridor behind you. Come armed. Like, give the captain no information.
What do you think of the episode? Let us know.
Hello, Jill.
Yeah. But I did like a lot that she leaves and the Breen not trying to stop her anyway, which shows her, like, irrelevant. And then Reyna takes her place. Lovely thematic little moment of we're a unified force. It's tiny.
Yes.
That's a good little moment.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's tiny, but it's great.
Now you're dealing with me, somebody who's been praised by another Breen, saying I fight like a Breen.
I'm also 40 years later, 10 years in command, and from the future I know things.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yes, whoever is getting healed gets healed. Who's being healed here?
Non, I think.
Okay, because it's a close-up. Yeah, okay. Okay.
It's her leg. She's sitting on the chair.
And he's doing real bad. Like, real bad.
But you know who's not doing bad? Hugh. He's just up on his feet already after being stunned by a weapon at close range.
Well, you know what happened, though? Dr. Pollard beamed in. She was having a drink in the 10 forward. Walked in. Right, I'm done. You know.
I heard there was some commotion on my time off. Oh, okay. You're better now. You can take over again. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Locke's not doing well.
That's the entire scene. It's a very redundant scene in the grand... Oh, no.
The other thing is we can't trace her. She must have some implanted form of biometric cloaking technology. Oh, damn it.
Didn't you scanned for that?
Yeah. My detail, my prisoner. Okay, Nan, go. Anyway, we're losing him. We don't know enough about his biology. We need a Breen doctor. I can get you one. After just leaving the room saying that nothing will happen to him under Federation care. Sweet.
What a coincidence. We happen to have a Breen Dreadnought. With 25,000 armed to the teeth people, 4,000 fighters and whatnot. What a coincidence. It's not as if this is going to make them want to kill us all because we've now made him dying. This won't be a problem. But anyway, back to a scene that again is still going on. And again, takes away more tension. We've pulled out the tension. Now, I like he says I'm going to go deal with the situation because they go lockdown. I don't like the fact that Stamets says, this is more important. Dude. If Maul tries to destroy the ship and kills you all, you're dead. You stop her first because she's a threat. The clue ain't going anywhere, you idiot. Or maybe get in the spore drive chamber and get ready to jump because you all might die soon. It's not sensible dialogue.
And even actually, the dialogue here is all awful because it's like there's been an escape. I gotta go. It's Maul, damn it. Wait, Book, we already have a mission. Anyway, and then Book asks the computer, Zora, have any terminals been used to access ship schematics? There was a login 30 seconds ago. Where? He actually has to ask where. Terminal C7 on deck 5. You think Zora would have said there was a terminal activated on deck 5? You don't need that extra dialogue in there. You can fix it with how a computer would actually respond. Anyway, it's fine.
And not just that, but stamps to security. She's on this deck. Instantly, 10 security officers beam in, outnumber her.
Yep.
That's sort of the point of this. They can instantly beam anywhere, or the security officers at the Starfleet headquarters. But no, convince him to stay and talk about his goddamn chip again. I don't give a shit about. I'm sorry, it's not done well. He looks cool, but that's it. I sort of like the idea that he can sense it, but since when can Beta Zeds imprint memories onto metal? And it's not special metal, it's just the keycard of the museum thing. It's not a custom thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just metal. And how can imprinted memory onto metal survive 800 years?
I was just going to say that. That was my next line, waiting for you to finish.
And also, since when can... I didn't think this guy's actually empathic. He can
talk to animals.
That's not the same thing as sensing emotions from people. He can't do that. He can do it with animals. This is a metal. How is he... Okay.
Yeah. What he sees is a huge, not dust cloud, but a plasma storm.
It's unhelpful beyond belief.
With plasma blasts.
Yeah, if that's the Badlands, I'll fucking riot.
It is. It's gonna be.
It looks like Saruman's headquarters. It's not really Badlands.
And then, here, take this. I'm leaving. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, there was one other thing, another feeling. It might be important, maybe. I don't know. Eternity, eternal, something. I don't know what it means. I have to go by.
Stupid dialogue.
Really? Like, that's a pretty important thing if you're getting that reading off this thing that's so important to Stamets'.
This is the last clue before the end of a tech that will change the universe. Oh, in case you need to know this last bit of information that was carefully left for us for 800 years, just in
Exactly, yeah.
From Eye Beholder TNG, is it, Jill? That's a thing? Oh. Huh. Okay. Wasn't that a murderer doing that? Because he was vengeful and bad?
I don't remember that specifically.
Yeah, I vaguely remember it. I think it was an unintentional, emotion push a memory. I don't know.
Yeah. Not.
Doesn't make it a good plot point though, does it?
Yeah.
And then the Breen beam in. I love the brute force of this scene. Although Burnham is super out of this scene, which is also kind of fun. It's very focused on everyone else. I love the Breen symbol of the medic. I love the fact that clearly they can just beam him out. But and they're choosing not to. And they're not shooting the two guards and the doctor. Goddamn respectful Breen. He's right there.
Yeah. Where's the second prisoner? Oh, she's also around the ship. Yeah. And if he dies, the Federation will pay the price.
Or not. Right. Again, I would just take him at this point and kill everybody on the ship, to be honest.
And then we get a book and law.
Well, and actually, hold on. Not just that. They're now on Discovery. So the throw out Discovery jumping is now moot because they're now on Discovery, which means if they do jump, they can take over the ship from inside.
Yeah.
Because they let them beam. Yeah, they could have beamed. Yeah, they could have. Yeah, this is the moment they could have beamed people on Discovery's spore drive chamber, blow it up.
Anywho's, on to the book and the non-fiction part of the episode. From their I don't trust you to I haven't spent any time with you for the episode, but now I trust you, you're a good guy book. Just on a dime. No, nothing in between. Yeah.
It's just padding. It's to give them all something to do. Why is the corridor empty? Why are those vectors other times? I don't know. Why didn't they beam here? I don't know. Why isn't security? I don't know. Why aren't the dots here doing something meaningful? Like, they don't need to be... They could be shot. I don't know. Why don't they just remove the oxygen? Why do they put Nurazine into this part of the ship? Because they know she's, like...
Yep.
Don't know. I don't know.
But Nan yells out that his idea failed. He's in bad shape. And it's like, I don't believe you. No, it's the truth. Oh, okay, I believe you.
See, I sort of like that in the sense of, if it was better written, in that she's so in love with him that she's not willing to take the risk to not be there when he dies.
Well, they're using the Michael Burnham and Book when they were together. They meant everything to each other.
Yeah.
He's using that mentality, like if Michael was dying, I'd want to be by her side. And the way he says it, that's exactly what he's...
Yeah, so I actually like the concept of that. It's just, it takes a long time just to reset the She Escaped plot. For no benefit. None. And that, first time it feels okay. I kind of thought she was going to do epic. Because I thought originally, first watch, I didn't say in the other review, but I thought that he was faking his injury. And she was going to beam in, steal him, do something else. Like, and he dies. I'm like, oh. It was real. Huh. What's the point of that escape then? But yeah, she gives in because she needs to be there when he dies. Sad. Yeah. And then as soon as she walks in, the scene is a if we liked them more, it'd be a bigger scene. But it's odd in second watch that everybody's silent. They let this lady walk in and have the dire moment. The Breen just stand there and watch.
Yeah, I know. I thought the same thing.
Like, they're dickheads, right? It feels out of character to be silent while watching a scum person talk to a dying... Like, it just... And Burnham's just like, just going to stand here, the captain of Discovery, not going to give any orders or be part of the solution. Just going to... maybe help the situation a bit. It's because they need the moment to be powerful, but the Logjaw's like, this is comedic. It's just odd. It's really odd.
Oh my god. Well, Matthew DeFrida's $2. Why not beam behind her and grab her?
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're both, Burnham and Hugh are just standing there, like, very respectfully, like...
It's so odd. And again, removes the tension. Still removing tension.
Yeah. You killed the Scion. No, he hacked a biobed. He didn't hack a biobed. He fucking turned a dial and punched it and injected himself with a massive dose of whatever, right?
And I wasn't seeing an overdose coming. It's such an odd plot twist. He OD'd on meds. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What? Okay. Weird.
Yeah, my thinking is, because this isn't their usual form, if he goes back to his other form, it might actually help heal him. But you think the Breen would know that, and so the Breen wouldn't assume that he was dead. So if it wasn't for the Breen being here, that's what I would assume, that he's not actually dead. He's kind of in a hibernation state. But
yeah, it's such a whelming death. It's not underwhelming, but I'm whelmed by it. It makes me, again, wish they'd focus on important characters, giving them scenes at every episode, building them up a bit more, because he's such a minor character in the season compared to Lot, Mole, and he dies. It's like, oh. But then we know from other episodes they're just going to bring him back from the dead. They've set up him dying so unceremoniously of an overdose.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay, he'll come back. He'll come back, he'll have no soul, he won't feel the same, she'll shoot him or die with him, and that's how it's going to end. Like, it kind of telegraphs the end a lot more than it needed to be.
Or he'll have no soul and not feel the same, and then he'll end up talking to Culber about it, and Culber will be like, you're fine, that's how I feel too.
A new Starfleet with blackjack and hookers. No, forget about the whole Starfleet thing.
So, yeah, they're either going to bring him back, or the Breen or the progenitor tech doesn't have the ability to bring back somebody that's dead. And then that's the moment where Maul is going to realize that he's not coming back and actually help out Discovery from the inside on the Breen ship. I think it's going to go one of two ways in that regard.
Or the Breen, and I agree, that's absolutely possible. Or, like you say, that's the twist. Because we know he's going to come back. It's how they set up the scene. It's obvious. It's not even subtle. So the twist would be he can't come back because the progenitors built in they can't reanimate dead matter. Good idea. Maybe don't do that. But what if instead that because very clearly she wants to die with him. That's clearly they've said that through subtext. So she willingly blows up Progenitor space station with the Breen aboard because she doesn't want to live anymore, and she can help the guy at the same time. That's what he would have done. That's the other ending I can envision.
That's a good one.
Because clearly the Breen will be there now. We've seen the suits. We know this guy is like he is now in the scenario in a meaningful way. Cool, great. That's how it feels like. Which is a fine ending. In fairness, that's a fine ending.
It's funny, when we were watching the episode last night, me and Sylvia, I know you haven't watched The Expanse, but the actor that plays Locke is in The Expanse. He's like one of the Secret Service guys.
With the voice.
And it's like, really? Oh, man. Anyway.
But guys, I feel Super Chats would be great. We're an hour and a half in, and, anything would help.
Yeah, we're still not close to 50 likes, and...
Yeah. We do this content for you guys. Yeah. And keep voting the poll. We're at 68 votes. We'd love to get to 75. At least.
Anyway, so everybody beams over to the ship. And the headquarters, Starfleet HQ, goes to red alert. And what we do here could have impact. It could be a wave that strikes many worlds. So, be careful. Oh, 4 warp signatures are arriving. They're Starfleet.
You would have detected them for days, hours, months, weeks.
Not a moment too soon. We're going to have a hero moment of ships. Those 2 shots of them coming in are very good.
The first 2 are good, yes.
Yes.
But as soon as you cut to the rest...
Pathetic. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, the last ship is that diddly medical ship.
Yeah.
The diddly pathetic one. Like...
It's a ship.
Yeah, it's like we have ships. Like, it's great the Connie came in first. That's a good one. That's one of the big ones. And did you recognise the second ship that came in?
The second ship... Well, the first one was the new Constitution class. Second one... No. Looks like a new Akira class.
No, it's that really fun fauna cell that was in one shot. That they used a discovery corridor to be the inside with a fist fight, which didn't make any sense. It even had like discovery panels that don't make sense. And then we saw the concept art, and it was even cooler. And we talked about how it must have been an old ship because the windows were textured like Discovery original because they clearly stole texturing. And it was a good ship. It's just it was clearly meant to be older. And so it was like, oh, that ship's back.
Oh,
but it was freaking giant. That's why it's giant.
Look at the nacelles on it, and then yeah.
And it was used literally once, and I think it has 6 nacelles, and it's a very, very weird one, and it doesn't fit with the fleet, but in a good way, I think. I mean, it feels old, like I said a second ago.
Jill throws in $1.50 with a slice of birthday cake, and then says, "Can we get enough slices of birthday cake for a whole cake?" Ooh. Aw, that'd be awesome if everybody could do that. My birthday's we're celebrating it tomorrow, but it's May 28th. But yeah.
Yeah, and Jill, how are you in general? Give us a brief history of Jill. Yeah.
I hope you're well.
Yeah.
We miss you.
We like your input. But I do like the fact that ships came in. But I this was more of a second watch after a review. It would have been really nice. And I think it's changing a bit. But if they had made a visual gag of having like a fleet of 20 ships warp in, which would have fit with Vance saying, "Get here," that's fine. And it'd be a mirror of season 1 where the Federation ships warped in, which was a cool, if a bit daft the way they played it, but a similar. And then it cuts the inside, and the Primarch's getting a message saying, and obviously then we hear him say, "That's not enough to fight us." And Burnham's like, "What do you say?" "Nothing." Like it would be a fun moment to have like 30 ships appeared, and they're not even worried. Tiny change, but having 3 and little sad ships, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we get the whole "we're married."
I love that Burnham and not to say Jack, they just stay silent. They stay silent when she gives away the plot of season 5.
Yeah.
I would have shot her in the back with a phaser before she said it. I'm sorry. Because you shoot her, you beam to the bridge, you say red, black alert, get to spore jump, let's jump to the Delta Quadrant, bam, we got Breen on board, beam into space, done. You don't let her tell the baddies the secret of the season. And they just stand there awkwardly, and it's really funny the second time. They just watch it. And there's no tension, there's no pacing. It's so strange. Did you get that for the first? Do you think that?
Yeah, I love the look on Burnham's face. Like, don't say. Oh, it's like, really? You couldn't step in and do anything? Yeah.
It's the fate of the universe. You've already seen everyone die in the future. Do something. But the wedding thing's great. I really like that. Tattoos are great. I think that was a really nice moment. And it changes the paradigm a lot. But that other thing's daft. And it's made me laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll get it for you. I know how to get this powerful thing for you because I'm so smart.
I totally have all the clues.
Right?
Or any of them. How is she going to help? She hasn't got the clues.
I think they figured out one clue. The rest was all discovery.
Yeah. And they don't... Yeah. She's not actually helpful at all, is she? I don't even think she necessarily read the book and understood it. Because she's not that bright, no offence. Yeah, how is she useful in this situation? All she'll say is, we should go back and steal Discovery. The place we were just at. Let's go steal it.
And then you have 5 minutes to transfer to my ship. We're out. So between here and when they sent her back is 5 minutes. So they immediately go back over, and here she's in a force field. And to be fair, in this scene, it's like you hear garbled, like you can't hear what people are saying in behind her force field. But I didn't take it as that, because this is where people were giving the argument that the other force field, they couldn't hear it through it for that conversation they had. This, I get the sense that she's in shock. She's just had a trauma, like her lover's dead.
That one. So, that one.
So, so she's seriously just kind of not really paying attention to what's going on. She's just going with the flow.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's a puppet now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And this is an okay conversation. The camera work is obnoxious. Everyone is spinning around them, and not just that, but because obviously they're not filming this to edit. They're just shooting every actor talking and moving the camera. About 3 times when Book's saying something, as he's talking, the camera goes into someone's shoulder because they didn't plan to use that take. So to cut to another angle of Book.
I noticed that.
But that's a stupid edit. Like, it keeps it moving, but you just shoot the shots, or you plan them. It just feels silly. Not bad, just a bit silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what do you think about the conversation?
Well, does she know anything about the progenitor tech? No, not really. But Non's team has deciphered some of this journal, and it says Dr. Villick believed that not only could it create life, but it may also be used to revive the dead. And it's like, the book's like a bit of a stretch. It's like, yeah, it is a bit of a stretch, but it doesn't matter. If she thinks it can bring Locke back, that's what she's betting on.
Well, they also made all life in our universe that looks like us. So I think the stretch factor is understandable with them. They made all life that we know.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you can definitely bring back... It doesn't mean you can bring back somebody that's dead.
No, but it's less of a stretch than most things.
And not have them be Pet Cemetery, like, you know what I mean? So...
But they agree to send her away. And I don't mind...
Well, they do. And Book's like, that's not the right thing. It's not the right thing. And it's not. But when you hear Trina say, losing her is fucking nothing. Keeping her and going to war and having many people die is stupid.
Well, no, read the quote, because her quote's actually quite good. Yours is way more impassioned. And it's a good quote. It's because it's like, well, we have nothing to play here. Like, all we can do is mitigate the harm. Either way they're going to get her and get Tech if we don't move forward. So what's the quote? It's quite a good quote.
She says, unfortunately, it seems there is little to be lost by allowing this, and much to be lost by keeping her.
Yeah, either way we're losing.
Yeah.
But
and Book gets pissy. The thing I hate is Vance just goes, security guy goes, and she's gone. What did the security guy do? He didn't punch anything in. He didn't lower the shield so the Breen could beam her out. Didn't communicate with the Breen in any way. I hated that scene.
I guess the Breen's shields are just downed to take a transport in. Maybe we should beam a bomb into their engine core then, kill them all. If their shields are down, and your shield's down to do beaming.
Oofta.
Again,
anyway,
no tension!
And then Book's like, "This is wrong, Michael." And Michael feels bad for Book, but at the same time, it's the right decision. It's the only decision they could have made.
But you're an idiot. They're just giving you lines to say things. And this is a cool shot, in fairness. But it's odd, like, they have everything now. Just kill them all. As in the Breen. Just shoot everybody. Right? You know? And if you can kill the Starfleet fleet, you're probably going to be able to kill the rest of the fleet. You know? This is one Dreadnought. If every Primarch has a Dreadnought like this, and one Dreadnought can kill the headquarters, I don't know.
Do you see the ship on the far left? The Federation ship? It looks like a futuristic 32nd century Nebula class.
It does. Yeah, that's the one from that was one I talked about earlier. The weird one that was like a one-off because the windows are different. It's a good ship. It's a good-looking ship. It's very complicated.
Yeah.
It's big. I mean, boy, these make Discovery look tiny. Discovery's giant. Discovery's like longer than the E. And this ship be big. And then the Dreadnought. I mean, the Dreadnought is going to be... I mean, probably Borg cube height, actually.
Yeah.
Probably. And green.
I sense a conspiracy.
Yeah. And they jump out in the opposite direction they jumped in.
Yeah.
They're going around the block.
Then they just have this conversation. It's at the archive, changes location every 50 years based on its past locations. This is where it is, blah, blah, blah. Library card. We got a library card. We can gain access to that one thing.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. And again, they say that Book saw an anomaly, and they entirely sidestep that and say, but we have the data from 18 jumps, and we guess where it's going next, which has nothing to do with Book's vision. They're entirely separate. Yeah. If you watch the edit, like, they move from that conversation to the next, and doesn't play a part. Because even if that was the Badlands, the person 800 years ago wouldn't know where it was when they were going now, so that doesn't make sense either. And I don't think for a second that the mega special reserve archive is always in the Badlands, just around it. Like, it's not.
No, I agree with you that he couldn't have known where it is, or she, whatever. But I think that the actual manuscript is what was sending the information. So it was sending what was around it to Book through the card. There's an imprint on the actual manuscript itself. So it was showing it where it is currently, not where it was 800 years ago.
That's some advanced ass shit, man.
That's the vibe I got. It's the only thing that makes sense, because otherwise you're absolutely right.
Quadrant spanning telepathy with metal.
Yep.
That's a
Klingon cleave ship versus Breen Dreadnought.
Yes. They are very similar in a lot of ways, yeah.
Yeah.
But I like Badlands. As long as they do them properly, I'm all for that. Although you would think that this level of tech in the future, you'd just defend against it. They would have solved that problem. They had time tech to solve against the timeline changing them. They can defend against a spiral worm hole eddy. Like, they're fine.
And now we come to one of my biggest complaints.
Excellent.
Of Discovery.
Oh.
As you've said before, no hook at the end of the episode. It would have been cool to like jump and see the thing and then and then oh my god, credits. Almost every episode of Discovery in a serialized story has no hook. All it has is Michael Burnham sitting in her chair and his camera pan into her.
That's happened 3 times, I think.
Yeah. Let's fly. Black alert. It's a stupid way to end. It's a stupid way to end an episode. Sorry, that's a real pet peeve of mine, and it's getting way more noticeable.
Yes, yeah, it's the most underwhelming end. Like you don't even need this scene because we know they're going to go to it. We don't need to in the captain's chair. What you do if you've got we've got 65 seconds left in the episode, right? You go from her to Rayna saying we're going there. You see the ship out. You see the museum ship. Hell museum ship. Peli comes on the thing. Or EMH. He went from being a doctor for the Delta Quadrant to now museum curator. And he end on that hook. You know what I mean?
That would be a great hook.
Yeah, either one, perfect. This is weak. And I think even watching it like as a binge, you'd be like, okay, next. You just wouldn't think. It just, yeah.
Yeah.
Very strange.
And that's the end.
And that is the end.
Now is the time of the show, guys, where you super chat in, because we want to get some more super chats at the time.
Yes.
Super chatting your score
Or
out of
any.
10, or thoughts that you've had about the episode. We want to hear them. And the super chat support is very helpful to the channel, so please, if you can.
And have we changed your opinion? Because I've certainly brought a laundry list of thoughts to this episode. I don't know if you had all those thoughts.
No, you made me see a few things, but hopefully I did the same.
Yeah, well, that's why we have this fun debate.
Yeah.
It's good to go through the whole thing, because at least it's more memorable than last week. You know?
Yes. Yes.
Like, we had a lot of small points to talk about.
Somebody on my first reaction last night said, well, it's better than last week. And I'm like, what was last week?
Yeah. Cause
I actually had to think.
Because it's not the one on the planet, is it? The death running thing. Wasn't the one before that?
That was last week.
Was it last week? Isn't there a boring one in between? Or is that the boring one?
Hold on. Let me look. Because I was, I thought the last one was Whistle Speak was the last one.
Oh.
There wasn't a boring one in between.
That was
the boring one in between.
It was so boring. I thought it was a worse one in the middle. Oh.
Anyway, yeah. So super chat in with your scores out of 10. We want to hear them.
And I genuinely want to know everyone's scores.
Yeah.
I really want to know what people think for this.
Yeah. Or just put your scores in the regular chat. Sam will read those out afterwards. But if you want the captain to read them.
And you should. He's got a great voice.
Because I'm the birthday boy this month. I don't know. It's fine.
And tomorrow especially.
Yes, join us for that. Tomorrow at about 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
We're going to be here all afternoon hanging out and doing birthday things.
I'm going to bring costumes. I'm gonna be celebrating Stuart by being in uniforms. That's a plan. So, Stuart.
Yes.
What do you think now we've spent 2 solid hours talking about this episode? How has our debate, discussion changed your opinion? And what does it make you appreciate, not appreciate? As we have a pretty damn detailed discussion here. Your thoughts?
I'm still of two minds on this episode. Like I said, it intrigued me, yet annoyed me at the same time. And now I can see why. Because you can see the good scenes. And like you said, they're interlaced with like stuff that takes you out of it. And then you get back to the good. So I understand totally why I don't understand how I feel about this episode. Again, this 54 minutes could have been shortened down to like 30, maybe less, and would have been just as good, and you could have moved on with the story. Cut out a lot of this superfluous stuff, like the escape attempts. I don't know. I just don't know. And like I said, missed opportunities. Have Saru in this one. You could have done that. You could have done a lot of different things. Non could have played a bigger part. Her and Book could have had more of a conflict during the episode, instead of setting that up and then paying it off without anything in between. Stuff like that is entirely stupid. Yeah, I do like that we got Locke's backstory, that he is in fact the successor. We got 6 Primarchs that are vying for power. That's great. So that stuff's good. Seeing the new ship, seeing the fleet, air quotes, of Federation ships, was also very cool.
And they never want to give Voyager any love.
I know, right?
It's like you set up this giant WoW-made Voyager J, you sold models at for Eagle Moss, you built it, designed it, whatever.
Yeah.
I remember when people were like, oh no, obviously Summer will be Captain of Voyager J next season. Yeah, obviously. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just so much stupid shit, like Cobra getting shot and literally like a minute or two later is up and taking care of his patient.
I don't remember him being shot, to be honest, either time watching this.
Well, the first time I thought he was going to get shot, and I thought he was going to die, actually. And then, boom, he gets shot, and I'm like, oh my god. And then next scene, in sickbay, he's up and helping out Locke. It's like, oh, okay, fine. Trina was really good in this. And she did a fantastic job. So did Rainer. Again, Rainer is always the standout in these episodes, even if he's got like 2 minutes of screen time. He's the great character and great actor. So,
although Vance, one of his worst performances.
Vance was a little bit like preoccupied.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't seem like he was. He phoned it in for sure. I don't know if that was a directing choice or just the actor having an off day. Shit's going on in his life. I don't know. But yeah, you could definitely notice something was off with him.
Because he's normally so damn good, right?
Yeah.
Like he's a standout, and he was not this week.
Yeah. The Maul and Lock death scene, or the Lock death scene, didn't really impact me. It's just like, okay, he's probably not dead. Oh, then the Breen say he's dead. Okay, so maybe he is dead. But it didn't give me any feels, unfortunately. Just like, oh my god, we're actually losing a good character. If he's dead, it's a shame, because I wouldn't mind seeing more of him.
In Discovery Season 6.
Yeah. I don't know.
Have I done a good job showing you the problems, though?
Yeah, but I saw a lot of those problems myself.
I know, but
I pointed out problems you didn't see too, so you be quiet. You know?
Okay.
But yes, when we first talked about this to film a review,
yeah,
how I started it off was like, I don't know how to feel about this.
I get that often as well, yeah.
And after 3 viewings of it now, it does get worse in each viewing, unfortunately. And I'm still of the same. I don't know why I like certain aspects of this and don't like the whole episode as a whole. I'm not going to remember. I'm going to remember pieces of it.
Well, it does this: good, not good, good, medium, good, not good. That it does every. Like, it would be really fun to see edit out all the middle bits, just the good stuff for like 17 minutes and be great.
Yeah.
And so, cheap as sin. It's just people talking in the circle room. We do a good job, though. We do a good job. Yeah. Like, they do politics pretty good in this show, considering they don't do action well, they don't do space battles well, they don't do space shots well. They do politics well. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
So as for scoring, I mean, for Discovery this season, I don't even know if this is the worst of the season necessarily, but it's definitely down there.
This is going to be the most interesting retrospective we've done, I think.
Probably.
Because these scores are all out of whack compared to each other. Because we had.
I know they are.
We had no. Yeah. Sorry, I just want to jump in.
This season.
Gut reaction.
Gut reaction's at 6.2.
Okay.
Put that down.
You are quite consistent in your gut, though. I will be honest. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I always say go gut. Don't let me tell you. Just go with your gut.
For all of Discovery, this is pretty much on par with all of Discovery. I think the lows drag it down, but the good points. Because I've found things I like in almost every episode of Discovery.
Yeah, we do tend to. Yeah.
Yeah. So for all Discovery, I'll give it a 6.8.
Okay.
I don't know how that jives with other things I've done.
It's interesting. I'll tell you that.
Anyway, how about you, Samuel?
Hi.
What do you think of it now that we've talked about it?
I liked reviewing it more than watching it, I think.
Oh, wow. Me too. 100%.
Because a lot of it is just dumb script stuff. That's fun when you realise it, because it's them not checking the script enough. Stuff that on the day they didn't quite realise, and then the edit, it's like, oh no. It's all stuff that you can fix, all of it, but they just didn't have the top. Whatever. It's odd. Too many characters, too many elements. The good is good. The not good is not bad. None of it's bad. Unlike some other ones recently, there's been bad moments. I don't think it was bad. Even the stupid, nonsensical walk and talk with Tig. Yeah, it's good to get more backstory. Therefore, it's worth something. It's just framed in a non-logical way to the show, which breaks all the immersion. But it's good to get more. We gave her something. So there's the dichotomy of like, it's worth having, but it's not worth the way they did it. But it's worth having. Burnham's not in it as much for the second half, which is nice. But then, like I said, the plot problems are just really funny when you break down the many elements and the unnecessarity of some of the scenes, and this is a really tremendous masterclass in broken pacing and broken tension. How do you reduce all visceral every time you get the Primarch being like, I might win, you cut to Book and Stamets with no energy in the spore room having a very lame conversation about very little. Really good juxtaposition of pacing and structure. It's not a good job, but they obviously need to have Book in it. I feel goddamn sad for Awashikam, Detmer, Bryce, Reese. They're just gone. They've thrown them out of the show. I actually like all the new cast's vibe, but why the hell are we giving them 4 from the end to be now the main bridge crew? I guess they always had more self-respect than to continue with a show that gave them nothing. It's very strange.
Before you continue, this is interesting. Luminaris says perhaps the Breen doctor lied.
Great, yeah, love it.
Because the humans don't know anything about Breen physiology, so could have said, he's dead. We're gonna take his body back to our ship. Yep,
nope, love it. That would be a great twist. They have a drug that brings a Breen back from hibernation, death sleep. Yep, I'd be absolutely for that, because it's such a like a whelming death scene that I need a twist after that to make it mean more, as well as that feels. So yeah, it's far more interesting than last week because it has good lore additions, but it is actually kind of a boring episode on second watch because the pace is a snail and the tension is 0, and it's not padded. It's just bad scenes next to good scenes. And like, where's the main doctor lady, and why is Adair even there? If not gonna, why is very strange. And considering we're now 3 from the end, this should have been a giant turning point moment, like Picard season 3 did, with their like this is a big build up, reveal twist, big episode, feeling it. But it feels a bit more, not quite as bad as the one where Vadik takes over the ship and it's like, well, you're a shit captain, aren't you, Captain whatever your name is of Titan? Like,
sure.
Like that's a padded episode, right? That was kind of last week. To this is better, but it's again, they're not building up to the end. They're gently strolling into the end of the season. I was really hopeful for the season. Score wise, I liked it more than last week. I think it's a better episode than last week, just from the scenes with the Primarch and the president. And he's
problem is. Last episode was way more Star Trek than this was. That had the Prime Directive vibe. It had the planet. It felt like a Star Trek episode.
Yeah, but I like aliens and ships though. So for me, this is more Star Trek.
I do too.
I know, but like a generic TNG episode versus like Prime, Breen, political. No, this for me is more Star Trek in like what I'm looking for versus that, which is a throwaway.
I think it's because last episode felt TOS to me in its structure. So.
Yes, which I agree, and we talked about that before. Yeah. So definitely better than last week, but easily fixable. And my score has been going down progressively because they've just delivered worse.
I know.
Do you want to know the funniest one?
What?
I won't say which one to which. Between 2 weeks, I went from a 9 out of 10 to a 3.5.
I remember that, yeah.
Whew. I didn't know I did that. I just read the score chart. For me, this season, it is not good, not bad. Yay! Improvement. I want to give, just for the good scenes, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Because those are genuinely good things, and they actually add character. They set up the villain well. Tarina's good. And I will forget things. I will forget the bad so quick. I'll remember the good. So I'm going to give it for that. All Discovery, it's not as entertaining as the shit, though. That's what we're getting now. The shit is now looking more interesting compared to this, because this is just more dull. But it's still better than the other two, which I gave bad scores. So I can give a higher score than the other two and still be bad. Yay me for consistency. I'm going to give All Discovery also a 6. You know what? It's just better than average in all regards.
Fair enough.
Which is much closer to yours than I've been for the last two, because we've been, yeah. So 6 across the board. Yeah.
Good.
And I might skip the bad scenes now in retrospective. And see how good it is then.
Yeah. All right, guys.
What do people think?
Five more likes to get to 50 would be awesome. If you're just joining us and haven't hit like yet, please do.
And 4 more votes in the poll to get 80. We'd love to hear yours because the last 3 are sort of vying for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ozzy though, $5, 8.8 out of 10.
Wow.
Oof. Mom gives it an 8.9 out of 10.
Wow, that's top tier.
Sergeant Montgomery throws in $2 and says Rainier and Reno 9 out of 10. 7 out of 10 missed opportunities.
But not as much as all weeks.
True.
Okay. What are people going to say?
Yeah, there's a few non-super chat scores.
Yeah, let's have a look. So we each give it in the 6s, which is... So Matthew, 7 out of 10. Merlot, 6 out of 10. Stanley, 6 out of... Oh, looks like we're getting 6s. Joseph, 6.8 out of 10. Han, 6 out of 10. Oh, wow, looks like we're all on the same page here. Zachary, 7 for Discovery, 4 for Star Trek. Oh, that's an interesting metric we've stopped doing because it's an unfair comparison.
Yeah, all of Star Trek isn't fair.
Because doesn't this sort of episode make you think that when people complain about Voyager Season 7, and it's like, this is not even in the same ballpark of quality, right? Characters you care about, interesting scenes, good canon, good space effects, good...
Plus, like 24 different stories a season as opposed to one story a season.
And,
you're going to have
the
some
pace
stinkers in Old Trek.
Is better in every single episode.
Yeah. It has to be because it's one episode for the whole story.
Yeah. I mean, even like compared to TNG Season 7, like, they're so much better than this. Just more engaging and more just... It's not a fair metric, right? Anyway, Donnie gives an 8 out of 10, but overall 7.75, so he's given a low score for him. Interesting.
Hypno Amber, 3 out of 10.
Okay. Goodness. Yeah. It's one of those...
Trekyard is also 3 out of 10.
Wow. It's one of those ones that you know it can be fixed with very minor things.
Yes.
Versus giant problems. Like, it would have been almost amazing, actually, if, I said it earlier, but if, like, the Breen Primarch warps in, like, a small, very Breen-like ship that we saw from DS9, he docks to the station and, like, very humbled walks in, is a dick, and we're like, why is he being such a dick here? And then turns out the Breen Dreadnought's cloaked next door the whole time. And that's the last act reveal right at the end. Is like, give us the thing, and then all the guns are pointed. That would have been an amazing moment. Everyone's cloaked, so I wouldn't even doubt that. That's fine. Like, stuff like that would be beautiful for pacing. Because like, wow, he's got the balls of a giant. This Breen, he's all strong, and that, like, that one thing would revolutionize the episode pacing wise and structure wise.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have plot holes like Season 2 did that you could drive a truck through, or loose threads that go nowhere that have a lot of promise.
Yes.
It's just, there's small things.
Yeah.
That could have been improved or taken out.
Yeah, so. It's not padding, it's just not sharp.
It's as sharp as a marble.
Well, no, it's as sharp as my lip balm. You could cut butter with it. Messy, but you could.
Fair. All right. Well, let's see what this poll is doing.
Final result. 78. Okay.
So he asked you all if you thought Discovery Season 5 would be the best season. Most people said yes. I think it was 75% you said. Is Season 5 so far... Well, the winner is the best season with 38%. Middle with 28%. And then worst and second best are close with 18% for worst and 15% for second best. Interesting.
I'm glad that was a poll, because that's a really odd result. Because I think Season 3 is so much better than this season. It has some problems, but the goods are so much gooder.
I don't remember a lot of Season 3.
Vance was
Season
amazing.
4 was definitely worse than this.
Yes, not even question.
In the middle. Last two were really good. Middle was a real drag.
Yeah, no, Season 3 had the Emerald Chain Lady with the scene about eating shit. That was a great scene. It had some terrible, it had some really good stuff as well. I don't know what's good as well. But, the Mirror two-parter, meeting Carl. Yeah, those are cool stuff.
My favorite seasons in order are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
That's madness. Are you from Sparta?
This is Sparta. I don't. Yeah.
So Stuart, what are we doing tomorrow? Reiterate to the fantastic people
yes.
out there, because we love you all.
I'm turning 50 this month, end of the month. Tomorrow we're having a 50th celebration birthday party, online drunk yards for you guys, with you guys. We're going to hang out and just have some fun all afternoon. So join us at like 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll get the festivities kicked off. You guys can join us and celebrate 50 years of Captain Foley.
Yeah.
If you want to. 50 is an important one. That's why we're doing this separately this time. So
yes. And it also starts our celebratory year. We've got this celebration, my birthday celebration, the prep celebration for the Vegas celebration, and then the anniversary celebration. So this is the first milestone of the year.
Because it's going to be 10 years of Trekyards in October. So this is our 10-year anniversary for Trekyards this year, and my 50th birthday is kicking it off. So that's kind of cool.
And we'll be triumphantly in Vegas, which will be sort of our thematic birthday week, celebrating with all of you guys. So we'll let you know if you're part of the Patreon or channel membership on the Discord. There'll be a very, very special announcement.
Special offers
happening early next week. I'm still got to dig into some stuff to find some stuff to show some stuff, because we want to show some stuff, not just show some stuff. It's a whole thing. You'll find out. So if you're there, very much first come first serve. Very much help us out. Very much anniversary. Like, be prepped for that next week, because it's like an eBay situation, kind of like if you don't grab something, So keep that in mind.
We hate to do this, but this is a members only thing right now. So if you want to join, consider joining.
Yes, Discord thing. Yeah, give you that. You support us, and we want to give you the chance to get the 1 of 3 or the
some cool stuff.
1 of 1. We might have 1 left. I haven't done the math yet. So yeah, keep that in mind from the Discord. Support it anyway, and there's loads of you in the channel that are part of that. So
keep your eye on the Discord channel. There will be a thing coming very soon.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
And join us tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah,
Come hang with us.
Those are always fun.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to do that jazz with you.
So, until then, he's Commander Cockings.
He is Captain Foley. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.